Hello everyone, I'm Allison with Green Goddess Plants and Seeds, and welcome to a tomato talk from my patio garden. So I have tomatoes ripening on my patio. That's amazing. It's so exciting to see the tomatoes ripening. So I've got a few varieties here. Most of them are cherries, but I do have two larger ones. So I have the Sweet 100s here. I have the sweet Aperitif that was ripe. It looks similar to the Sweet 100. I got one of those. I've got Brad's Atomic Grape. Ain't that cool? I've got my mystery goldberries. These were goldberries. Some people refer to them as blue goldberries, but they are a Wild Boar Farms variety, and on their website they are called goldberries. And they're supposed to be yellow and blue. That's not yellow, that's red. So I don't know what's going on with those. And then we've got the Russian Saskatchewan, very lovely little tomato. And then finally, we've got the pink Berkeley Tie Dye. Look at that. Isn't that a thing of beauty? Look at all that wonderful, beautiful bronze striping. So I'm gonna have a bit of a taste test and see what they're like. Usually when I do my taste tests, especially more for the larger slicers, I'll just take a bite of them or take a slice and eat it, and then I'll take a second bite but add a little bit of salt to it before, just because a little bit of salt just kind of brings out the flavors a little bit. So I'm going to start with the Sweet 100s. They're a very common, popular cherry tomato. I don't normally grow them, but I did have requests for them this year at the plant sale. So I thought, okay, why not? Let's give them a go, because they're usually, like I said, they're common. They can be found anywhere in virtually any greenhouse. I try to make a point of growing stuff that isn't available in greenhouses. So I try to grow stuff that's, sorry, I'm being buzzed here by either a bee or a wasp, I'm not sure which. Anyway, so these are the Sweet 100s. They're a nice sweet flavor. Nothing but spectacular, just a nice sweet cherry tomato. I have a glass of water here to cleanse my palate. And one of the things I've noticed with cherry tomatoes, that, at least for me, from my experience, is that they have to be dead ripe in order to be at their sweetest. So, but my personal favorite is the Sweet Aperitif, and it produces cherry tomatoes in the nice big long trusses. Oh my God! Comparing the Sweet Aperitif with the Sweet 100. The Sweet Aperitif is sweeter, and it's quite a bit sweeter, and it's lovely. It just has a brighter flavor. It's more, I don't know if something can be more tomatoey or less tomato. I don't know if that's possible, but the Sweet Aperitif definitely has a much better flavor to me than the Sweet 100s. All right, next up, let's do the Brad's Atomic Grape. I heard so much about this last year. Everyone was raving about it, and I was curious as to what it'd be like, so I decided to grow it. I wasn't too sure about what they would look like when they're ripe, but they're mostly green, but they have the streaking on it, but they do turn sort of more of a yellowy green, and there's more red in them, and that looks right, and it feels like a ripe tomato. So this one I'm going to slice to see what it looks like on the inside. All right, so that's the Brad's Atomic Grape on the inside. Let's give her a taste. Might be just a slightly underripe, but it's still quite sweet. So I find some of the cherry tomatoes, if they're not dead ripe, they're not sweet at all. But this is actually sweet. Now, I will admit, I don't have the most sensitive of palates, so if you're looking for grand, descriptions of fruity and citrusy flavors, you're probably not gonna get it from me, but they're quite nice. I'm impressed. It's it meets my expectations, I guess. I'm not disappointed, that's for sure. I wonder if I left it a little bit on the vine a little bit longer, so it's a little bit more ripe, if that would change the flavor. But it's quite sweet, quite nice. So the next up, I'm going to do the Russian Saskatchewan. This is one of my personal favorites from last year. It's a lovely, lovely, as you can see, it's not very big. They don't get very big. It's a small tomato, but I found them to have a wonderful, nice tomatoey flavor. I'm going to cut one open here. There you can see, it's a beautiful looking tomato. Flesh isn't quite as firm as maybe you'd want it to be. I wouldn't call it mushy, but it's kind of borderline. But it has a lovely flavor. It's a little more sweet than acidic, but a lovely, lovely tomatoey flavor. Not, it's not bitter. It's not. See, I prefer sweet tomatoes, so I find this one to be part of why I find it to be I like it is because it is more sweet than acidic. Very nice tomato. This is why we save seeds. This is why, we save heirloom seeds in families, because if the family didn't save these seeds, this variety would be lost to us. And it's a beautiful variety, and I'm glad I'm growing it. And I've started collecting seeds for it, so maybe I can offer some seeds for sale this coming fall for next year. So next up, we're going to do the pink Berkeley Tie Dye. Now, in the past, I've never been quite struck on the flavor of the Berkeley Tie Dyes, but some people love them. They swear by them. But they're such a beautiful tomato to look at. They're just amazing. Like, I don't know if you can get how well you can see the striping on that, but it's a beautiful bronze greeny striping on that tomato. It's just gorgeous. All right, we're gonna take a slice. Okay, and there it is. There it is, looking good. All right, the first bite, I usually just eat plain on its own. You know what? It's not as bad as I thought. Not as bad as I've experienced in the past. Not that it's a bad tomato, but it's definitely more acidic. But for some reason, in past tastings of it always came across as almost being too acidic for me. But it could be the growing conditions that we're experiencing this year. Like, it's very hot, it's very dry, borderline drought situation. So maybe that might have affected the flavor. And I've also read somewhere that when you're picking your tomatoes, you're supposed to wait and pick them in the late afternoon after they've had that full day of sun exposure, because then it concentrates all those lovely flavors in them. So it's definitely more acidic, but not, for me, unpleasant. So I'm going to take another slice or another bite, and this time I'm going to put a little bit of salt on it, because the salt will brighten the flavors. You don't want a lot. You don't want to just douse it, but just a light sprinkle, just to, I think my salt shaker's a bit plugged there. But oh yeah, see, that just brightens the flavors right up, and that's I think I can be sold on the pink Berkeleys this year. It's definitely, unless my palate's changing, my taste change, that happens to everybody as they get older. But it is actually quite a lovely tomato. I'm actually surprised that I'm enjoying it this much. Surprise, surprise, because Yeah, like I said before, it was never a favorite in the past, but that's nice. That's a gorgeous tomato. Look at that. All right, so finally, what I'm going to do is I've got these mystery gold berries. They're supposed to be gold, but they're not gold. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to save the seed from these. And there's different methods of doing that, but I'm just going to cut them open and scoop out the seeds, and then I'll taste what's left. Oh, that just bursted right open. Look at that. Look at all those seeds that came out. I'm going to cut her open. That's just full of seeds. Holy. I'll just scoop those out. Yeah, so I'm just going to scoop them in the container. This is, I guess it's what's called the fermentation method for saving seed. So what I do is I just scoop out the seeds, and I'll add just a tiny little bit of water, and then I'll let it sit and ferment on the kitchen counter for maybe 5 days until it starts to grow a little bit of mold, and then I'll rinse them off and lay them out to dry. And that's the way. That's how I learned to do it. So that's the way I do it. I know there's different methods. People have different methods for doing it. So whatever you feel is right for you, go ahead, do it. Those are more acidic. It's the skin. I'm getting a lot of the skin, and the skin has a bit of an acidic tang to it. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, there's some sweetness there, unless they're not dead ripe. I could be, because there's definitely a sour tang to that. So maybe they're not quite ripe yet. But we'll see what happens with the rest of them. We'll see if the rest of them turn red like this, then clearly there's a problem. They're obviously not the gold berries as advertised. But I'm still going to save the seeds from these ones. Just because, you know, maybe they could be developed into something else. I don't know. There we go. Seeds out of that one. And the seeds out of that one. Put a little bit of salt on these. See what happens with that. No, they're definitely not sweet. Not like I was expecting them to be. Rest of those seeds out of there. Huh. Interesting. Interesting experience. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with the rest of those gold berries. I mean, maybe they're supposed to turn red and then yellow. I don't know. But it seems like they should be going from green to yellow. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. And then I did pick, I've got 2 lovely silver slicer cucumbers. I was kind of hoping they'd be more prolific than they are. But then again, you know, it's been dry and I haven't always been here to water them properly. And in the end, I think I only ended up with about 4 plants. So there's one here that definitely doesn't look that great. So I think I'll slice into that one. We'll slice her open. I have grown the miniature whites before, and they're quite a lovely tomato. Or, sorry, tomato. Cucumber, sorry. That's a lovely cucumber. They're nice and mild. I would definitely grow this again. I think I would love to grow it again for the market next year and have it for sale with the rest of the green ones, and you can always mix them in with the green ones so that people are forced to try them, right? A little salt just to accent that flavor. Very nice flavor. I like it. So that is my tomato tasting. Thank you for joining me. I've always wanted to do a large-scale tomato tasting. I've always wanted to, you know, have just big long tables just full of all manner of different tomatoes and have people come in and taste them and have different recipes made from them and stuff like that. I've always wanted to do that. That'd be cool. Anyway, this is what I'm doing for my afternoon, is tasting tomatoes. So I hope you're having a great day and a great weekend ahead. And we'll probably talk to you again, probably from the farm. So until next time, take care.